The car you're about to see is, in my opinion, one of the prettiest across the entire segment. This is the new Alfa Romeo Junior. You can get it as a hybrid, you can get it as a fully electric version, or you can get the sporty fast version, which is the Veloce, which we have here, and it has a little bit of a twist. And I spent the last week in this car, and I've actually driven another variant of this car, and here are 5 things I've learnt in that time. Number 1 is to do with size, because in my opinion, this is the perfect sized car. It fits in every tight car park, it fits in every tight car parking spot. Anywhere you go, this just fits. It's easy to live with, you're not worried about the width. However, there are a couple drawbacks to that, the first of which is in here, because it's not massive in here. However, it does have ISOFIX points, which means young kids will fit in here perfectly with their child seats. However, as they get older, knee space isn't massive. Headroom is okay. Also, these seats, we're going to talk about them a little bit later, but they are so nice. However, they kind of do seem to eat into the rear space. But continuing on size, let's talk about the boot. In terms of boot size, it's 400 litres, so it's marginally bigger than a Volkswagen Golf, but it's actually the shape and the height. So a nice height here, and there's no load lip, big square space. There's a bit of storage under there for charge cables or anything else that you want to hide. Number 2 is to do with prices and different versions, and there's a good reason we're getting into this. So prices start at about 35,000 euros, whether you go for a hybrid or an electric version. The hybrid one is called the Ibrida. Sorry if I'm completely butchering all these pronunciations. And then the electric is the Electrica. On top of that, you can also go for the Electrica Speciale, and then you can go for the Veloce, which we have here. Now this costs north of 50,000 euros. However, there's very good reason for that. And to figure out why, we're gonna go for a drive. To drive this Veloce version, it is really good. So to begin with, the standard version, the hybrid, that comes with 136 horsepower. Then if you go for the regular electric version, 156. This 280 horsepower. So it is quite a lot. And it's quick. If I put my foot down now, it picks up very quickly. However, the real difference between this and every other electric car that is fast, because let's face it, a lot of them are very quick in a straight line, is its ability to spin the wheels on the front. So a lot of electric cars are rear wheel drive, and this just really gives you a very sense of hot hatchiness, which is just a pleasure to drive. In addition to that, it also has lower, stiffer suspension, which means on a back road like this, it is loads fun. In the real world, it's very firm. I wish there was a way to maybe adjust the dampers a little bit more to make it way, way softer. It also has bigger brakes, so it stops pretty quickly too, and you can actually turn off regenerative braking entirely, so you really feel like, other than a bit of noise and a gear change, you're almost in a combustion hot hatch or hot mini SUV, whatever way you want to look at it. Combine that with these lovely sport seats and the nice interior, which we'll talk a little bit more about later. It is a great package. Should you buy the Veloce version? Probably not. You may want to, and if you do, then go for it, but it is a lot more expensive, and you can get a regular Electrica Speciale with these seats, and it's probably more than enough in the real world. Number 4 is to do with living with this interior, because it's really good, because there's buttons. So a lot of cars just have one massive screen, climate control, everything's connected through that, and it's just a bit of a nightmare to navigate, particularly when driving on unfamiliar roads. Here in the Junior, we have a nice screen here that Apple CarPlay connects up to seamlessly and wirelessly, so you don't even need this. On top of that, there is a volume knob, there is climate control buttons, you can turn on and off your AC, and that in the real world just makes life so much easier. Last but not least, what's under the bonnet? Well, technically, we're going to talk about batteries and battery sizes. So it's got a 54 kilowatt hour battery, and then depending on which version you've got, it can go somewhere between 322 and 406 kilometers, which isn't exactly class leading. However, it is probably enough in the real world. So this Veloce version, obviously, it's closer to 322 kilometers. In fact, the real world is probably closer to the 300, if not slightly less. and then add in the fact you're probably going to drive it enthusiastically, realistically, you're getting about 280 kilometers in a car like this, but it doesn't really bother you. And if you're not doing massive mileage, it's more than enough in the real world. There is tons of chargers opening up every single day all around Ireland and the rest of Europe. And I am genuinely finding that it's becoming less of a stress when it comes to charging. And it will charge up really quickly. Today I actually experienced going from 8% to over 70% in just 22 minutes. So it is very quick to charge too.